Good morning. The hour for convening having arrived. All members will please take their seats. All members, please take your seats. Mr. Clerk, will you please ring the bell? We're going to have the morning roll call vote. All members, please vote green to signify your presence in the chamber, and the clerk will unlock the machine. We got you. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. Doorkeepers, please close the doors and keep them closed. As is our custom, we will begin our day with scripture reading and prayer by the chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. Our chaplain this morning will be introduced by the gentleman from the 31st House District, Representative Emory Donahue. Representative Donahue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have the privilege of introducing my friend, Pastor Jeff Appling. He's otherwise known as Pastor A. But first of all, let me introduce his beautiful, most talented musician, and what a beautiful voice, Miss Lisa. And Miss Lisa Appling, they were married at 3 years old, so they've been here quite a while, even though they don't look like that. I have the privilege of visiting this church. And when I go there, probably several times a year, it's because my middle daughter, Megan, Seth, my son-in-law, we have Levi, we have Selah, and Becca that love the Grove. Then my son Josh, Holly, Kai, and Haven love the Grove. I attend another church, but every time I can sneak away, I go to the Grove. Now, with that being said, to give you a little history, the Grove is in Maysville, Georgia. It was founded in 1802. Thomas Jefferson was president, and I can see Pastor A riding that mule with a straw hat waving, holding the Bible, as he traveled the dirt roads to spread the Word of God. And that's a joke there, but he's been there 33 years. So with that, I want you to put your seatbelt on and buckle up, because right now, as not a very good golfer, just in case he hits one in the weeds, I'm going to give him a chartreuse golf ball, but it's a Titleist Pro V. And just in case he wants to hit it straight down the fairway, we have a Titleist Pro V, and it's ready to tee it up, Pastor. So here you go.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. Well, I played golf yesterday, so I need both of these based off what I played. So it's an honor for my wife and I to be here. We are grateful to God. I am not the founding pastor of the Grove, but I did go there in 1990. Lisa and I were 26 years old, and we began our journey in the pastorate. It's our first pastorate, and we've stayed, and we've enjoyed it. We understand the value of planting somewhere and staying somewhere and working hard. And we're grateful to God for you. We pray for you. I understand leadership. I have the opportunity of working with a fellow, many of you may have heard of Dr. John Maxwell, and for 20 years I've worked with an organization called Equip alongside of pastoring. And Equip is just a name that simply means encouraging qualities undeveloped in people. And we do it all over the world. And God is blessed, and we've had opportunities to travel a lot. The one thing that I do know and understand fully is that you in this room sit in a leadership seat. And a lot of people from a distance look at leadership and think it's fun. They kind of think it's a lot of... They think it's beautiful. You know, it's like, oh, I'd love to do that, until they sit in the seat. And when you sit in the seat, you understand real quick there's a lot of pressure, a lot of responsibility. And the one thing that each of you are called upon to do is making decisions. And that is a responsibility that you have. You know, the Bible says that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. And Lisa and I were talking about that this morning on the way in, and we said, isn't it really wonderful that we serve a God that loves the whole world? Doesn't matter what side of the aisle you sit upon, doesn't matter what race you may be, we serve a God who loves you. And we are capable of loving one another because God so loved us. But I understand that in your situation, and even as a pastor for this many years, we are called upon to make decisions. And when we make those decisions, how many of you know not everyone likes our decision? The moment we make them, I heard a little story. It said, you know, to dwell below with the saints we know, or to dwell above with the saints we know, won't that be glory? But to work below with the people we know, that's another story. It's not always easy, and not everybody likes our decisions, and we get that. But I thought if I had one thing to say, and basically when I came in, they told me, you have one thing to say and sit down. I said, okay, I agree. The Word of God says, and we know this, that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to God's purpose. The promise is given to those who love God, that God will take the decisions you make, and God will work them in our nation, and God will work them in our state. Both Lisa and myself have enjoyed living in Georgia our entire lives. We went away to school for 5 years and then returned to Georgia. And we were so grateful to God to be back in the great state. And we had to make decisions in our life. And so over the last 33 years, we have learned that some people are real excited when we make them, and some people are really not excited at all. And sometimes we think we're doing good, and then sometimes we think, I don't know if that's good or not. And this is my question to you. How do you really know what's good, and how do you really know what's bad? Well, I'm thankful that we have the Word of God to measure our decisions by, and we certainly can consult the Lord. And I would say, please, for all of you in this room who are representing me and my family, please be prayerful. Please seek the wisdom of God. I think God's smarter than all of us, and I think we can lean on Him. And the Bible said if we acknowledge Him, God is faithful to direct our path and to help us make those decisions. But as well as we all know, Decisions are not popular with everyone. But I heard a friend, he was trying to tell a story, and he said, hey, can I tell you a story about a trip I took on a plane? He goes, man, I'd love to hear that story. He said, well, I was going to take a trip on a plane, and it was my first time to fly. He said, well, that's good. He said, well, no, it's not. He said, it was bad. He said, because they had promised me to go up with a pilot in the field, and he was going to take me up, but he got sick, and he wasn't able to take me out. He said, oh, man, that's bad. He said, no, actually, it was good. He said, because the pilot that got sick couldn't take me up, and so he decided, I'll find the best pilot on the field to take my place, and that best pilot took me up. He said, oh, man, that's good. He said, no, actually, it's bad. He said, because that guy was so good, he wanted to show out in that plane. He flew it straight up, nose dived it back to the earth, flipped it over. He said, oh, man, that's bad. He goes, oh, no. He said, it was good. He said, it's the most fun I ever had in my life in a plane. He said, it was so awesome. I had no idea it could be so exhilarating. He said, well, that's good. He said, no, actually, it's bad. He said, the last time we went up and he flipped it over, he said, man, I fell out of that plane. He said, oh, dude, he said, that's bad. He goes, no, actually, it's good. He said, I had a parachute on. He goes, well, that's good. He goes, no, actually, it's bad. He said, I was free sailing through the air, and, man, having the best time, but he said, I pulled the cord, nothing happened. He said, oh, man, that is bad. He said, no, sir. He said, actually, it was good. He said, I've never had so much fun free sailing through the air, and I looked below, and there was a huge haystack. He said, whoo, that was so good. He said, actually, no, it was bad. He said, the closer I got to that haystack, he said, there was a 4-pointed pitchfork sticking right in the middle of that thing, and I was headed straight for it, and he said, oh, man, that's bad. He said, no, sir. He said, that was good. He said, actually, he said, I missed that pitchfork. He said, oh, man, that's good. He goes, no, man, that's bad. He said, I missed that whole haystack. And to sum up my 5 minutes, and if I kept 5 minutes today, I want a $5 tip. We don't always know what's good, and we don't know what's bad, and some of us have gotten involved in things and thought it was good and lived long enough to find out, oh, that was bad. And some of us have lived long enough to get involved in some things that weren't so good and to find out, you know what? Isn't God good to be able to work out things in our life that we could have never worked out on our own? This morning when I came in, I was looking for Emery, who's been a great friend, and I'm not familiar with the Capitol. I'm not even familiar with what all you do other than we know you have great responsibility. And I was praying, Lord, please help Lisa and I to find our way. And we were walking through the streets, and I crossed the path of another representative in the room, Mr. Chris Irwin. And Chris and I used to be neighbors. And I thought, you know what? God knows how to direct our path to the people we need to meet, when we need to meet them, and they'll get us to where we need to go. And I just say to all of you, we love you and appreciate you. God loves you and wants a relationship with you. And if you'll trust him, God will give you wisdom to navigate every decision you have to make. And when they're made, if you love God, he is able to take the little things that we do, work them all together for his glory and our good. And God bless this nation, and please, God bless Georgia, and God bless you for what you do. Thank you for the time. Let's stand together. I'll pray for you, and then we'll have the pledge. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ that saved our souls and changed our lives, we give you thanks today, Lord, for another beautiful opportunity to stand and to glorify your name. Lord, may we be humble and grateful and express our thanksgiving. May we show love one to another. And to see the beauty of unity in this room, well, that'd be a gift to this nation. And so I pray for that. Lord, we have not because we ask not. And so we ask for unity in this room and direction for each individual. And God, for these leaders, I pray that you would lift the load of their burdens, and the Lord, that you would be their strength. I thank you for the leadership today. And God, please help us. And God, please help our nation. In Christ we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, sir.
Oh, that's excellent. I like your prayer. Doorkeepers will unlock the doors. You may join Pastor Appling in the south anteroom if you would like a photo. And Pastor, thank you for that prayer.
Thank you.
The devotion was great, but the prayer was awesome. Thank you. It's that time. We've got a lot of work to do today. A lot of work. Chair recognizes Chairman Tarvin, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits. Chairman Tarvin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Information and Audits has read the journal from the previous legislative day and found it to be correct. And, Mr. Speaker, something else this is something serious to think about. As I went through these this year, most of these quotes were done before 1900, and this one was before 1883 because Ralph Waldo Emerson passed away in 1883, but it's amazing how these fit in our life today. To continue to be yourself in a world that constantly tries to change you is the greatest accomplishment.
You were just a child when that was written, but that is very profound. And we appreciate that, Mr. Chairman. No doubt about that. Chairman Tarvin, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, reports that the journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is there any objection to dispense with the reading of the journal? The chair hears none. The reading of the journal is dispensed with. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? The chair hears none, and the journal is confirmed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day?
Representative Administration of the 104th moves following be established as the order of business during the first part of the period. Unanimous consents. Introduction of bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of House bills and resolutions. Second reading of bills and resolutions. Reports of standing committees. Third reading and passage of uncontested local bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of Senate bills and resolutions. Morning orders.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? The chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. First reading of bills and resolutions, the clerk will read.
House Bill 808 by Representative Chokas, the 151st, Year to the 152nd, Mathiak the 74th, Ridley the 6th, Powell the 33rd, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 2, Chapter 5 of Title 4080 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to property tax exemptions.
Ways and Means.
House Bill 809 by Representative Powell the 33rd. The bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 28 of Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to occupational therapists.
Health.
House Bill 810 by Representative Vance, the 133rd. The bill be entitled to Act to amend Titles 8, 10, 36, 43, and 46 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to buildings and housing.
Regulated Industries.
House Bill 811 by Representative Davis, the 87th, Scott of the 76th. Bill be titled and act to amend Chapter 4, Title 10 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to warehousemen.
Agriculture and Consumer Affairs.
House Bill 812 by Representative Gilliard to the 162nd, Beverly the 143rd, Bruce the 61st, Mitchell the 88th. Bill be titled and act to amend Chapter 3, Title 50 of the official code of Georgia annotated relating to state flag, seal, and other symbols.
Special Rules.
House Resolution 568 by Representative Hawkins the 27th, Mathiak the 74th, Dempsey the 13th, Hatchett the 155th, and Martin the 49th. A resolution creating a House Study Committee on dentists and dental hygienists.
Health.
House Resolution 598 by Representative Martin of the 49th, Cannon of the 172nd, Williamson of the 112th, Jones of the 25th, Smith of the 138th, and others. A resolution proposing an amendment to the Constitution so as to vest judicial power of the state in the Georgia Tax Tribunal.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 295 by Senator Gooch, the 51st. Bill be titled an act to authorize the governing authority of Lumpkin County to levy an excise tax.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
Senate Bill 300 by Senator Harperson of the 15th. A bill be titled an act to create a Board of Elections and Registration for Schley County.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
Senate Bill 305 by Senator Jones of the 10th and Strickland of the 17th. Bill be titled an act to provide a homestead exemption from the City of Hampton ad valorem taxes.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
Senate Bill 306 by Senator Jones of the 10th and Strickland of the 17th. Bill be titled an act to provide a homestead exemption from the City of Hampton ad valorem taxes.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
That completes first readers.
Second reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 793 by Representative Barton of the 5th, Hatchett of the 155th, Hutchinson of the 106th, Cooper of the 45th, Dempsey of the 13th. A bill relating to licensing provisions regarding professional counselors, social workers, marriage, family therapists. House Bill 794 by Representative Mitchell of the 88th, Oliver of the 82nd, Drenner of the 85th, Kendrick of the 95th, Crawford of the 84th, and others. A bill relating to parks, historic areas, memorials, and recreation. House Bill 795 by Representative Davis of the 87th, Schofield of the 63rd, Scott of the 76th, Kendrick of the 95th, Roberts of the 52nd. A bill relating to criminal abortion. House Bill 796 by Representative Davis of the 87th, Scott of the 76th, Schofield of the 63rd. A bill relating to restrictions of the performance of abortions, availability of records, civil cause of action, and affirmative defense. House Bill 797 by Representative Tran of the 80th. A bill relating to the Department of Public Health. House Bill 798 by Representative Carpenter of the 4th. A bill relating to selling and other trade practices. House Bill 799 by Representative Reeves of the 99th, Gunter of the 8th, Sains of the 180th, Silcox of the 53rd, Kelly of the 16th, and others. A bill relating to the authority of the Board of the Georgia Judicial Retirement System. House Bill 801 by Representative Wilkerson of the 38th and Smith of the 41st. A bill to amend an act incorporating the City of Mableton. House Bill 803 by Representative Schofield of the 63rd, Scott of the 76th, and Davis of the 87th. A bill relating to other safety inspections and regulations. House Bill 804 by Representative Seabaugh of the 34th, Crow of the 118th, Corbett of the 174th, McDonald of the 26th, and Gaines of the 120th. A bill relating to motor vehicle license fees and classes. House Bill 805 by Representative Mathis of the 149th. A bill to amend an act to provide a $15,000 homestead exemption from certain ad valorem taxes levied by, for, or on behalf of the Twiggs County School District for residents 62 years of age or older. House Bill 806 by Representative Mathis of the 149th. A bill to amend an act restating and reenacting certain homestead exemptions from ad valorem taxes levied in Twiggs County. House Bill 807 by Representative Chokas of the 151st. A bill to create the Terrell County Land Bank Authority. House Resolution 545 by Representative Wade of the 9th, Jaspers of the 11th, Hawkins of the 27th. Resolution honoring the life and memory of Mrs. Opal Gibson Crawford Barron, dedicating an intersection in her memory. House Resolution 546 by Representative Mathis of the 149th, Gunter of the 8th, Smith of the 18th, Momtan of the 17th, Fleming of the 125th, and others. Resolution supporting the work of law enforcement agencies in the state of Georgia to combat the fentanyl epidemic. House Resolution 547 by Representative Mathiak of the 74th, Gunter of the 8th, and Hatchett of the 155th. A resolution creating the House Study Committee on Rural Medical Personnel Recruitment. House Resolution 563 by Representative Anderson of the 10th and Powell of the 33rd. A resolution creating the House Study Committee on licensing in the tree care industry. House Resolution 564 by Representative Dubnik of the 29th, Jones of the 47th, Irwin of the 32nd, Jones of the 25th, Jaspers of the 11th, and others. A resolution proposing an amendment to the Constitution so as to provide for the election of members of the State Board of Education by members of the House of Representatives and the Senate whose respective districts are embraced or partly embraced by each congressional district of this state. House Resolution 565 by Representative Corbett of the 174th, New of the 64th, Ridley of the 6th. Resolution creating the House Study Committee on Motor Vehicle Dealer License Plates and Temporary Operating Permits. House Resolution 566 by Representative Hilton of the 48th, Cooper of the 45th, Stephens of the 164th, Seabaugh of the 34th, Hatchett of the 155th. A resolution creating the House Study Committee on Georgia's COVID-19 response and future pandemic preparedness. House Resolution 567 by Representative Thomas of the 21st, Jones of the 25th, Irwin of the 32nd, Werkheiser of the 157th, Martin of the 49th, and others. A resolution creating the House Study Committee on Workforce Innovation and Development. Through second readers.
Reports. Oh yeah, I can see that south ante room. There's no one in there. So if you have important conversations, before I call your name, I'm going to suggest you go into the south ante room or out that front door. We have important information that we're transmitting from up here, so I ask members to please take their conversations someplace else. Mr. Clerk, reports of standing committees. The clerk will read.
Representative Robert Dickey, the 145th District, Chairman of the Committee on Agriculture and Consumer Affairs, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Agriculture and Consumer Affairs has had under its consideration following bill of the Senate has instructed me to report same back to the House following recommendation. Senate Bill 132 to pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Robert Dickey, the 145th District, Chairman. Representative Matthew Gamble, the 15th District, Vice Chairman of the Committee on Economic Development and Tourism, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Economic Development and Tourism has had under its consideration the following resolution of the House and instructed me to report the same back to the House. The following recommendation, House Resolution 488 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Matthew Gamble, the 15th District, Vice Chairman. Representative John LaHood of the 175th District, Chairman of the Committee on Governmental Affairs, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Governmental Affairs has had under its consideration following bill of the Senate has instructed me to report same back to the House. The following recommendation, Senate Bill 145 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative John LaHood of the 175th District, Chairman. Representative Chuck Martin of the 49th District, Chairman of the Committee on Higher Education, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Higher Education has had under its consideration following bills of the Senate has instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. Senate Bill 112 do pass by committee substitute. Senate Bill 137 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Chuck Martin of the 49th District, Chairman. Representative Beth Camp of the 135th District, Chairman of the Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination Locals, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination Locals had under its consideration the following bills of the House and Senate and has instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 678 do pass. House Bill 728 do pass. House Bill 734 do pass. House Bill 743 do pass. House Bill 744 do pass. House Bill 749 do pass. House Bill 750 do pass. House Bill 757 do pass. House Bill 759 do pass. House Bill 760 do pass. House Bill 772 do pass. House Bill 773 do pass. House Bill 774 do pass. House Bill 776 do pass. House Bill 777 do pass. House Bill 778 do pass. House Bill 779 do pass. House Bill 780 do pass. House Bill 781 do pass. House Bill 782 do pass. House Bill 783 do pass. House Bill 784 do pass. House Bill 785 do pass. House Bill 790 do pass. House Bill 792 do pass. House Bill House Bill 800 do pass. House Bill 802 do pass. House Bill 591 do pass. House Bill 593 do pass. House Bill 594 do pass. House Bill 711 do pass. House Bill 717 do pass by substitute. House Bill 729 do pass. House Bill 748 do pass. House Bill 751 do pass. House Bill 752 do pass. House Bill 753 do pass. House Bill 754 do pass. House Bill 755 do pass. House Bill 756 do pass. House Bill 758 do pass. House Bill 761 do pass. House Bill 762 do pass. House Bill 763 do pass. House Bill 764 do pass. House Bill 765 do pass. House Bill 766 do pass. House Bill 767 do pass. House Bill 768 do pass. House Bill 769 do pass. House Bill 770 do pass. House Bill 771 do pass. House Bill 786 do pass. House Bill 787 do pass. House Bill 788 do pass. House Bill 789 do pass. House Bill 791 do pass. House Bill 737 do pass. Senate Bill 289 do pass. Senate Bill 290 do pass. House Bill 775 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Beth Camp of the 135th District. Chairman. Representative Tyler Paul Smith of the 18th District, Chairman on Committee on Judiciary Non-Civil, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Judiciary Non-Civils had under its consideration the following bills of the Senate. It's instructed me to report the same back to the House with following recommendations. Senate Bill 31 do pass. Senate Bill 63 do pass by committee substitute. Senate Bill 68 do pass. Senate Bill 92 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Tyler Paul Smith of the 18th District, Chairman. Representative John Corbett of the 17th District, Chairman on Committee on Motor Vehicles, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Motor Vehicles has had under its consideration the following bill of the Senate has instructed me to report same back to the House. Following recommendations: Senate Bill 110 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Matt Barton of the 5th District, Vice Chairman. Representative Jay Collins, the 71st District, Chairman on Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security has had under its consideration the following bills of the Senate. It's instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. Senate Bill 11 do pass. Senate Bill 37 do pass by committee substitute. Senate Bill 97 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Jay Collins, the 71st District, Chairman. Representative Saints of the 180th District, Chairman on Committee on Special Rules, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Special Rules has under its consideration the following resolution to the House and instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendation. House Resolution 547 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Saints of the 180th District, Chairman. That completes the reading of the reports of standing committees.
We do have a local calendar. We have 31 bills on the local calendar relative to homestead exemptions that requires a recorded 2/3 vote, roll call vote, for passage. We also have a supplemental local calendar. I think it has one bill on it, Mr. Clerk. The supplemental has one bill on it. We're going to put both of those calendars together. We're going to vote on them as one. Third reading and passage of the uncontested local bills. If there is no objection, we will be voting on the local calendar as a whole with a recorded vote. Hearing none, it is so ordered. The clerk will read the local calendar and the supplemental local calendar.
House Bill 678 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Clayton County. House Bill 728 by Representative Chokus, the 151st, Webster County. House Bill 734 by Representative Chokus, the 151st, Webster County. House Bill 737 by Representative Chokus, the 151st, Webster County. House Bill 743 by Representative Powell of the 33rd, Hart County. House Bill 744 by Representative Powell of the 33rd, Hart County. House Bill 749 by Representative Smith of the 18th, Haralson County. House Bill 750 by Representative Wiedauer of the 121st, City of Watkinsville. House Bill 757 by Representative Deloach of the 167th, City of Ludowici. House Bill 759 by Representative Bonner of the 73rd, Peachtree City. House Bill 760 by Representative Bonner of the 73rd, Town of Tyrone. House Bill 772 by Representative Meeks of the 178th, Bacon County. House Bill 773 by Representative Barton of the 5th, Town of Ranger. House Bill 774 by Representative Perkle of the 169th, Irwin County. House Bill 776 by Representative Baird of the 24th, Forsyth County. House Bill 777 by Representative McLean of the 109th, Gwinnett County. House Bill 778 by Representative Townsend of the 179th, Glenn County. House Bill 779 by Representative Momtahan of the 17th, Paulding County. House Bill 780 by Representative LaHood of the 175th, Brooks County. House Bill 781 by Representative Holly of the 116th, Henry County. House Bill 782 by Representative Anderson of the 10th, City of Dillard. House Bill 783 by Representative Jenkins of the 136th, Town of Moreland. House Bill 784 by Representative Holly of the 116th, Henry County. House Bill 785 by Representative Rhodes of the 124th, Greene County. House Bill 788 by Representative Meeks of the 178th, City of Blackshear. House Bill 790 by Representative Reeves of the 99th, City of Sewanee. House Bill 792 by Representative Cannon of the 58th, City of Atlanta. House Bill 800 by Representative Maynard of the 56th, Fulton County. House Bill 802 by Representative Chastain of the 7th, City of Morganton. House Bill 591 by Representative Evans of the 89th, DeKalb County. House Bill 593 by Representative Evans of the 89th, DeKalb County. House Bill 594 by Representative Evans of the 89th, DeKalb County. House Bill 711 by Representative Reeves of the 99th, Gwinnett County. House Bill 717 by substitute by Representative Baird of the 24th, Forsyth County. House Bill 729 by Representative Lupton of the 83rd, City of Brookhaven. House Bill 748 by Representative Reeves of the 99th, Gwinnett County. House Bill 751 by Carpenter of the 4th, the City of Cohutta. House Bill 752 by Representative Wiedauer of the 121st, Tacony County. House Bill 753 by Representative Carpenter of the 4th, Whitfield County. House Bill 754 by Representative Carpenter of the 4th, Whitfield County. House Bill 755 by Representative Carpenter of the 4th, City of Tunnel Hill. House Bill 756 by Representative Carpenter of the 4th, City of Dalton. House Bill 758 by Representative Carpenter of the 4th, City of Dalton. House Bill 761 by Representative Carpenter of the 4th, City of Tunnel Hill. House Bill 762 by Representative Carpenter of the 4th, City of Dalton. House Bill 763 by Representative Wiedauer of the 121st, Tacony County. House Bill 764 by Representative Wiedauer of the 121st, Tacony County. House Bill 765 by Representative Wiedauer of the 121st, Tacony County. House Bill 766 by Representative Wiedauer of the 121st, Tacony County. House Bill 767 by Representative Wiedauer of the 121st, Tacony County. House Bill 768 by Representative Wiedauer of the 121st.
Mr. Clerk, will you
Tacony
suspend? Just want to let you know both ante rooms are empty now. So you brought every conversation to the floor. I got nowhere to go today, y'all. I ain't got dinner plans, and I got some crackers over in my office. I'm good till about 9 or 10 o'clock. I'd love to share with y'all. How many more you got, Mr. Clerk?
About a page. Page in the supplemental. You're good.
How's that, bro? Yeah, let me get them started. Come on, Pam. We're in no hurry. They're not in a hurry. I'm not in a hurry. Come on up here. I got all day. Good to see you. I know all these good people have come to the gallery to hear what we do. And I know all this sound is rising up there. They can't hear a thing because I can't hear anything where I'm standing at. Thank you, members. Mr. Clerk, please continue.
House Bill 768 by Representative Wiedauer, the 121st to Coney County. House Bill 769 by Representative Wiedauer, the 121st to Coney County. House Bill 770 by Representative Wiedauer, the 121st to Coney County. House Bill 771 by Representative Carpenter, the 4th City of Cohutta. House Bill 786 by Representative Carpenter, the 4th City of Dalton. House Bill 787 by Representative Carpenter, the 4th Whitfield County. House Bill 789 by Representative Carpenter of the 4th Whitfield County. House Bill 791 by Representative Wiedauer, 121st to Coney County. Senate Bill 289 by Senator Jones of the 10th City of Hampton. Senate Bill 290 by Senator Jones of the 10th City of Hampton. Supplemental calendar, House Bill 775 by substitute by Representative Williamson in the 112th City of Social Circle.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered on the local calendars? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bills? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall these bills now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bills on the local calendars will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of the bills on the local calendar, the yeas are 162, the nays are 0. These bills, having received the requisite constitutional majority, are therefore passed. Before we move on to morning orders, we have a few people I'd like to introduce to you on the floor that have served in this chamber and served across the way. They're all kind of has-beens. That's what they all are. Has-beens. So we're going to introduce them right now, though. We'll make the best of it. Former House member Fran Millar, who was later a senator, served very honorably in the Senate. Fran, good to have you. Former State Representative Pam Stanley. Where's Pam? There she is. And of course, the most beloved member of the Senate of all times, Chairman Jeff Mullis. Good to have you all. And now, to the really important young man whose career is on the rise. He was just elected. He'll be sworn in the next few days. The newest member of this body, or soon to be the newest member of this body, soon to be Representative Eric Bell. Make Eric welcome. Representative Ingo Willis will now introduce the doctor of the day. Let's have your attention. Give our physician your attention. Thank you so much. Come on.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I'm happy to report that there is indeed a doctor in the House, and it is my pleasure to introduce her today. Dr. Alice Frey is originally from Lithonia, Georgia, so one time for the East Side. She attended Xavier University of Louisiana for her undergraduate degree and the illustrious Howard University College of Medicine for her MD, finishing in 2008. She completed her residency training in emergency medicine at East Carolina University and Maimonides Medical Center in Brooklyn, New York in 2011. She returned to Atlanta and has worked for multiple hospitals in Georgia and the metro Atlanta area and is currently serving Kaiser Permanente for the last 5 years. It is my pleasure to introduce our Doctor of the Day, Dr. Alice Frey. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. It is my pleasure to serve as the Doctor of the Day, and thank you for your service to the people of Georgia. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Ray, and thank you for being here. We'll move on to morning orders. I'm going to ask the members, if you don't have a group in the gallery, if you can postpone your morning order till the afternoon orders, that would be great, because we have a lot of morning orders. I'm going to ask you to be brief in the well, very brief in the well, or we'll get started right after lunch if you don't. Very brief in the well. Chairman Chokas is recognized for a morning order. Can this one wait, Chairman Chokas, so you need to make this one? Is this an afternoon order or a morning order? Chairman Chokas is recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To celebrate the 202nd anniversary of Greek independence, I've placed on your desk some baklava for y'all to enjoy. And also for this occasion, I'd like to recognize some guests in the gallery. We have Theodoros Dimopoulos, who is the Greek Council of Atlanta. Y'all stand. My pastor, Father Theodore Ermir, from Macon, Georgia, the Holy Cross Greek Orthodox Church there, and he's accompanied by his 4.5-year-old son, Yakim. Abby Kousouris is a journalist with Atlanta Fox News. Stand up. My cousin Bill Akeland is there. Go ahead. And Eleni Karounos from the Judicial Council is there as well. So please welcome them to the gallery. And I want to share just a few words about Greek independence. They won their independence against the oppressive Ottoman Muslim Turkish Empire on March 25th, 1821. And the people of Greece were inspired by the American Revolution. As a matter of fact, the United States' first president, George Washington, is praised in the Greek national anthem. The people of Greece and the United States have maintained an unshakable bond for over 2 centuries, fighting as allies in both world wars and all major conflicts. The close relationship was further demonstrated by the signing of the Second Amendment.
Gentlemen, we'll finish up in about 10 seconds.
Yes, sir. Despite being situated near a turbulent part of the world, Greece has continued to be a bastion of democracy, a pillar of stability, and an unfaltering ally of the U.S. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Love Greece and the Greek people. Love to have y'all here. Thank y'all for being here. Whip Park is recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. We have with us today folks from the Gwinnett Youth Commission. Would love to invite folks from Gwinnett County to join me. The Gwinnett Youth Commission is a year-long Gwinnett County government program designed to encourage and educate high school students in local government and civic affairs to develop the next generation of leaders. They serve as representatives for Gwinnett's Board of Commissioners and have opportunities to qualify for service awards and invest in themselves and their communities. Colleagues, please join me in welcoming the next generation of leaders to the People's House. Y'all, please stand and be recognized if the Gwinnett Youth Commission is here. If not, all right. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Welcome.
They said they were going
Thank
to be
you,
here
Mr.
by
Whip.
10 o'clock.
Whip's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today is also Go Vote Georgia Day at the Capitol. We have with us pro-democracy coalition partners and organizations who've worked tirelessly to register hundreds of thousands of people to vote and to turn out millions of Georgians to exercise their most fundamental right to vote. Colleagues, please join me in welcoming and thanking those who have fought to protect our right to vote and the freedom as Americans to continue the hard work to perfect our union. Y'all, please stand and be recognized over here on the left. Thank you so much for your good work. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Representative Boehner and Representative Carter are recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to recognize Mr. Glenn Reed. Representative Doreen Carter and I will be speaking about him. We are presenting him a Georgia Outstanding Citizen Award today. If you could please stand. He is a former law partner at the world's 27th largest law firm, King & Spalding. Over 30 years ago, he founded the healthcare practice at King & Spalding, which was ranked #1. He is also a pro bono legal advisor for MedShare, Georgia's NGO that delivers medical supplies and biomedical equipment across the globe. He's a dean of counsel at Emory University and chair and CEO of his family's private foundation, which does a lot of activities for the community worldwide. And Rep. Carter.
And we wanted to acknowledge Mr. Reed and his foundation for the work that he's done in Africa, Asia, Latin and Central America, and the Caribbean. And since 2003, his foundation has offered maintenance and water wells and equipment of over $176 million worth of services. His social impact investment partner with Care Social Ventures and Kiva provided over $2 million to 74,500,000 borrowers in 25 countries. Ladies and gentlemen, would you all join us in acknowledging Mr. Reed and his great humanitarian work across the world? Thank you, and we yield the well.
Chairman Carpenter is recognized for a morning order. And friends.
All right, thank you, Speaker. Everybody, you know what time it is. It's natty time, baby. Here's your natty daddy right here, folks. That'll be in your office. We want to thank the Dalton Chamber of Commerce and especially Mohawk Industries for making these fine collectible items. I don't want to see these on eBay.
Representative Crawford is recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, good morning. Today I have a special group visiting the Capitol, a young group called the Leadership Academy, the prestigious Leadership Academy out of DeKalb County. They are a young group that wanted to see how we operate and how we work and wanted to see what we do in the Capitol. They'll be visiting the Capitol Hill this upcoming summer as well as Parliament, but I explained to them that there is no house like the People's House. So I'm excited that they came. They're the 100 black men. They are also here, the 100 black men of DeKalb County. So thank you for your mentorship. Please, Youth Academy, Leadership Academy, stand up and be recognized. And we have a resolution that we're going to be taking back to DeKalb County. So thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Representative Bernal is recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This morning, I would like to recognize Widows and Widowers Day at the Capitol. Life After the Rain started May 21st, 2016. It is an organization of widows and widowers committed to helping one another regain their quality of life and recover from the heartbreak and tragedy of losing their spouse. They're in the gallery. Would you please stand? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Marion is recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning. Buenos días a todos. Wow, a couple days left. So today, this morning, I want to rise to recognize Mr. Ed Cota. He founded in 1998 Clínica Mi Familia Sí Baby. The clinic has served the Hispanic community for over 25 years. Would you stand, Ed, and your people, please? They have delivered over 33,000 babies. Also, throughout the pandemic, the clinic was instrumental in reaching the Hispanic and underserved community by providing them with more than 30,000 COVID-19 vaccines and boosters shots, regardless of insurance coverage or legal status. Thank you very much for that. I just want to have the members to rise and recognize Clínica Mi Familia Baby, Ed Cota, and his folks over there. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Park Cannon is recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today is Morehouse School of Medicine Physician Assistant Day. Please stand up. Thank you so much for all you do for maternal health care providers in this state. You're one of 9 programs in this state, and especially Ms. Pangela Dawson, the founding director of this program. If you'll wave, we appreciate you so much. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Adesanya is recognized for a morning order. Where is he? Here he comes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, please join me in welcoming the faculty members and students of Maurice Brown College. They dedicate so much of their time to helping all of the minority students. If you hear the faculty, staff, and students, can you stand up and get recognized? Maurice Brown. Where are they? They're here. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Roberts, recognized for a morning order.
Any teachers that want to join me, or pro-educators, colleagues, I have some special people in the house. I want to welcome Dr. Denson and Heavenly Montgomery, 2 of our esteemed National Board Certified teachers. This certification is the most respected professional certification available in education and provides numerous benefits to teachers, students, and schools. It was designed to develop, retain, and recognize accomplished teachers and to generate ongoing improvement in schools nationwide. These teachers spend hundreds of hours putting together portfolios and passing national assessments to earn this certification that costs them $2,500. They also have to renew it every 5 years. We used to give our nationally certified teachers a bonus. I'm hopeful in the near future that we can work to reinstate some financial recognition of these certified teachers. Georgia has a teacher shortage, and we've been passing legislation to encourage filling that gap. But we should also strive to ensure Georgia has the best teachers. Our children deserve that. There they are. Everybody give them a round of applause. We appreciate all you do to be the best of the best.
Chair Lady Dempsey and Representative Ballard are recognized for a morning order.
Good morning. To make sure that those teachers have the best ready students, you have a little something on your desk today. 2 great board books. If you are a parent, or maybe even some of you are young enough that you remember board books that you read yourself. I've had so many of you actually that are grandparents come up to me today and tell me how excited you are about that. I want you to make sure you look at the flyer that's on there. We have a resolution. I'm not going to read it, of course, but I want to make sure you know a little bit about this profound program, Reach Out and Read in Georgia. This is, along with many other days, Reach Out and Read Day at our state capitol. This is an early intervention literacy program that was developed in 1989 at Boston Medical Centers and expanded to each and every one of our 50 states. In Georgia, the affiliate office launched in 2012 and today serves 189,000+ children and families in 72 counties, 193 hospitals, pediatric practices, clinics, and home visiting program sites, with 122 applications right now to join it. This is the most wonderful program, y'all. Children go to their pediatrician from birth, that first visit, all the way through age 5, and the pediatrician writes a prescription to that parent to read to that child and gives the child a book to take home and enjoy and encourage that early and important brain development and all the great things that come along to help them be ready for school one day. Upstairs, we have Amy Erickson. Amy, if you would stand up, the executive director, Dr. Terry McFadden, the medical director, Carolina Klinker, and Kim Thomas, the program managers. Thank you for all you are doing and the many ways you will help our children.
Let's see, Representative Gaines, Chairman Rhodes, Chairman Wiedauer, Representative Fry have some friends here. We want to make sure we acknowledge y'all do have friends. So let's see. Recognized for a morning order.
Yesterday we had 2 trophies who were here, good friends of Athens. But do want to recognize we have several student group or 2 different UGA student groups here in the audience today. I first want to recognize the University of Georgia Student Government Association. If y'all can stand and be recognized.
Oh yeah, coming after your seats.
I just heard Representative Fry say these folks are all coming for our seats, so look forward to many of you being elected to the House in the future, especially President Bryson Henriott. I know he's a lame duck president on his way out, so you can do whatever you want now. But thank you all so much for coming to UGA, SGA. And we're also doing a resolution this morning that we'll be introducing here shortly. Also want to recognize from the School of Social Work student group with Dr. Ed Rissler. If y'all are in the audience, will y'all please stand? Some other great UGA students. Thank you, Dr. Rissler, and thank you all the UGA students for being here today. Go Dogs.
Welcome to the People's House. Representative Drenner and the DeKalb delegations recognized for a morning order.
Look at Billy.
Billy and Shay.
Good morning, everyone. Today we are proud to recognize March 23rd, 2023 as DeKalb Day at the Capitol.
Yes.
DeKalb County was founded on December 9th, 1822 as Georgia's 56th county and celebrates its bicentennial this year. Please stand and recognize CEO Michael Thurman, who's in the gallery, Commissioner Johnson, Commissioner Bradshaw, Commissioner Terry, Commissioner Long Spears, and Presiding Officer Robert Patrick. We invite all of you to join us in the Rotunda for lunch, and let's hear it for DeKalb Day at the Capitol.
Chairman Thurman, former Representative Thurman. How about do me the honor and come down and let's take a photo if you don't mind. Would love to. Representative Bentley. Members, you need to give the lady in the wheel your respect. This is a special presentation. Special presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker,
Lady will suspend.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'm going to yield to.
Lady will suspend till we get order in the chamber. Members, this is a special recognition this morning. Lady will proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am going to yield to Representative Glaze.
So this morning we come in honor of our representative from this great chamber, Tish Nagisi. As many of you know, we will put her to rest this Saturday, but because we have such a wonderful representative, Patty Bentley, She helped us make sure that we could give something to her only living son that would be honorable of her work here in the house. So this is from all of us in the house to her son. And if you would allow this blanket to open up so you can see how beautiful it is.
Turn it around so the speaker can see it.
Heaven has gained a new angel, Tish Nagisi.
Yes.
Thank you, members. As I said to y'all the other day, a story seldom told is soon forgotten. So we're going to tell Tish's story and of her service in this house to her fellow man and to her family. Thank you, members, for doing that. Representative Bentley, that's special. Representative Roman and the Forsyth delegation now is ready to go.
Yes, sir.
Forsyth delegation.
Get very excited.
Forsyth County
Yes.
delegation.
Good morning, everybody. For some context about why I'm the one standing up here, I am a proud graduate of South Forsyth High School, and I am honored today to welcome the Humanities Academy from Forsyth Central High School. It's a rigorous project-based 4-year program focused on cultivating compassionate leaders of tomorrow. These students, as a result of the program, are college and career ready, and includes them becoming very curious, civil, empathetic, and open-minded leaders. The Humanities Academy promises that every child who graduates from this program will be published, practiced, and prepared for college, career, and life. So if you'll please help me welcome them to the People's House. Y'all please stand so we can recognize you. And Mr. Speaker, as a point of personal privilege, that's my high school teacher right there, Matthew Thompson. So if y'all are wondering why I am who I am, it's because of him. So you can either blame him or thank him. That's your call. But I'm so excited to be welcoming y'all today. That's what I thought.
I believe it worked out. Representative Danny Mathis is recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the House. I am proud to have in the gallery over here to my right the Bleckley County Royal One-Act Play State Champions. They presented to the state the 9 to 5 musical. They are directed under Miss Kelly Greer and Miss Vicki Speck. We are honored to have Dr. Trey Bellflower, our superintendent, with us today, who, by the way, is the daddy of Farm Bureau lobbyist Adam Bellflower that we see out in the hall, and our high school principal, Dr. Brad Knox. Will you please join me in congratulating them in a state champion one-act play? Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Members, we're going to move on to the rules calendar. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to Senate Bill 45?
Senate Bill 45 by Senator Anna Duarte of the 31st, to be entitled an act to amend Part 3 of Article 16 and Chapter 2 of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to health of students in elementary and secondary education, so as to provide for the care of students being treated for epilepsy or a seizure disorder. This bill having referred to the Committee on Education, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chair Lady Dempsey is recognized to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning. We've had a joy-filled morning. It's very important to pause now as we begin to go through these measures. This first one, I actually wore the right color for today. It's purple. This Sunday is being recognized in our state as the day for epilepsy awareness in the state of Georgia. I was so unaware of a lot of this, and I actually have a husband who had a heat stroke running track in college, which brought on a seizure, and those seizures returned later in life. He's on great medicine and he stays very healthy. But there are actually 40 different forms of epilepsy, as well as 25 different kinds of seizures. Some are easy to recognize, some are not. Just like many of the things we've done to have a prevention mode in our schools, whether it is an allergy, a reaction to a bee, peanut butter, anything else that can help a child and a parent feel safe, it's time for there to be an epilepsy plan for each and every child that might be diagnosed with that, and that's what this is. Approximately almost 17,000 children and teens live actively with epilepsy in Georgia and miss 11 or more days of school in the past year is the average number that they miss because of this true challenge. We have an opportunity now with free training. It's not only good for our teachers and the staff and everyone in the schools, but friends and each of us who might suddenly find ourselves in that situation. It's free, it's online through the Epilepsy Alliance Foundation. It takes about an hour to do with a brief registration before it, and afterwards a certificate is provided. So what we are going to do is try to join 20 other states that have passed this safe seizure law. Kentucky, Indiana, Texas, Illinois, New Jersey, Virginia, Washington, Oklahoma, Alabama, Colorado, Nebraska, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, Utah, Florida, Maryland, Arizona, Missouri, Louisiana, and California. We cannot let them take better care of this situation than we can. It is imperative that we take care of each and every one of these young people. It requires that no later than August 1st of this year, the Department of Education shall develop a model seizure action plan. Not every school has a nurse. Those that do, that can be the person. But if they don't, it's quite possible for other teachers, other administrators, others to be aware and be prepared of the exact need for that exact child. Some of our special needs children have multiple seizures and very intense seizures, but there are also those that can go unnoticed but can cause severe complications if not treated exactly correctly for that individual child. So I ask you to join me today in supporting this measure to help our children be safe and parents to feel safe about having their children in a school. Mr. Speaker, I will take questions or yield the well.
Lady has no questions.
Thank you. I ask for your favorable support.
The lady has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 167, the nays 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. For what purpose does Chairman Richard Smith rise?
To make a motion.
State your motion.
I move that Senate Bill 158 and Senate Bill 199 be recommitted to rules.
Clerk will read the caption of 158 and 199 and 199.
Senate Bill 158 by Senator Robertson, the 29th, and others being titled an act to amend Chapter 32, Title 33, the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to property insurance to provide for an insurance premium discount. Senate Bill 199 by Senator Estevez of the 6th, to be entitled an act to amend Article 3 of Chapter 18 of Title 45 of the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to State Employees Benefit Plan Council, so as to require such councils to establish health savings accounts.
On the gentleman's motion that SB 158 and SB 199 be withdrawn from the calendar and recommitted to the Rules Committee, is there objection? Hearing none, it is so ordered. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to Senate Bill 6565?
Senate Bill 65 by Senator Watson of the 1st and others, to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 1 of Title 33 of the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions, so as to authorize the Commissioner of Insurance to take certain actions, including but not limited to promulgating rules, applying for federal monies, and establishing an advisory committee. This bill having referred to the Committee on Insurance, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chairman Lumsden is recognized to present the bill.
Mr. Speaker, members of the House, I bring to you Senate Bill 65, which is a governor's bill. This bill is a one-page bill that does only two things. First, it authorizes the Commissioner of Insurance to take the necessary action to establish a state-based health insurance exchange to serve as the enrollment platform for individuals to shop for and purchase health insurance in Georgia. And secondly, it strikes from code language that prohibits the state from establishing and operating a state-based health exchange. Mr. Speaker, that's the bill. I'll be glad to appreciate your favorable consideration.
Gentleman, yield, or is he taking a question?
I'll take a question.
Representative Al is recognized for a question to your right.
Thank you. Does the gentleman yield?
I yield.
Thank you. I have two questions, if that's okay. The first question is, as we're moving to transition away from a federally facilitated exchange on healthcare.gov to a state-based marketplace, what is going to be the timeline for implementation of this program, and how is the state prioritize funds for marketing, outreach, and consumer advocacy?
As far as the timeline is concerned, the insurance commissioner, as I understand it, has been working on this for some time to get the program ready to go, so it should be a fairly short process to get the implementation going. And a lot of the funding mechanism is from the monies that are paid to the currently that are going to support it at the federal level will be coming to the state level.
Okay. One follow-up question, if I may?
Sure.
Thank you. If the gentleman further yields, how will the state ensure that it does have a robust patient navigator system to reach, first of all, low-income or uninsured patients, and also to help people who speak languages other than English? I'm just going to say I'm asking this because I note that healthcare.gov offers resources for patient registration in 15 languages, and that Georgia is also becoming increasingly international. So what programs do we have for that?
The Navigator program will remain. It will just be answerable at the state level instead of being answerable at the federal level, but the Navigators will still be just as they are.
Thank you.
Gentleman, yield for another question or two.
One more question.
Chair recognizes Whip Park to your left, right in front of you for a question. Whip Park.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the chairman yield?
I do.
Is it not true that this bill would create a state-based exchange similar to about 10 to 20 other states that have a state-based exchange?
I think 17 other states and D.C. already have implemented this, yes.
Does the gentleman yield for one additional question?
Yes, sir.
Is it not true that this state-based exchange would have to be subject to the protections found under federal law that ensure that, for example, all the qualified health benefits are included in the plans that are on these exchanges, and that also allows for flexibility.
Absolutely. We're still bound by all of the ACA regulations. So, yes, this is just transitioning from a federal program to a state program, which, frankly, if you've dealt with any federal programs, you know that they can be unwieldy and slow sometimes, and we feel like we can be more flexible and move quicker when things need to be dealt with at the state level than waiting on the feds to take care of it.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I'll yield the well.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? For what purpose does Representative Lisa Campbell rise?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Point of inquiry, please.
State your inquiry.
Isn't it true that the website that is set to launch for this exchange platform that is currently covering more than 700,000 Georgians is set to launch without a beta rollout period while it's simultaneously happening as Medicaid unwinding is happening? And the bill and the governor's team, is it also not true that they have not shared mitigation plans for that, a backup plan, a redundancy plan for that significant number of Georgians?
I'm not sure of the answer to that question, but if the lady so states, I'm sure she believes it to be true. Here we go. Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 136 and nays 33. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to Senate Bill 86?
Senate Bill 86 by Senator Brass, the 28th and others to be entitled an act to amend Title 20 of the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to education so as to allow eligible students participating in the dual enrollment program to access Hope Career Grant funds. This bill having referred to the Committee on Higher Education, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
The gentleman from the 179th House District, Representative Rick Townsend, is recognized to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a good bill. It would help students access their Hope credit grants earlier. Right now, they're allowed to access it as a senior in high school, junior or senior in high school. This way they can access it as a 10th grader to help high-demand fields such as advanced manufacturing, nursing, welding. Allows those kids to take those technical credits early on as a sophomore. Junior year, use their Hope credits. Then, for example, nursing. Senior year, then they would go to be a CNA, take the courses for that, be a CNA, work at the hospital system, and then go directly into their RN degree as well. Welders and stuff can start the workforce as a senior in high school as well if we move these grants. It's a good bill. There's another bill that's attached to it to study. This sunsets in 3 years to make sure it doesn't get out of control. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer, Mr. Speaker, but we're excited for this workforce opportunity for our students. This is something they can choose to do or not, and it's going to help your community out if you'd like to be involved with it, your manufacturers, your healthcare centers, other areas like that as well. So, Mr. Speaker, we'll take any questions at this time.
Gentleman has a question. Representative Betsy Holland, to your right, has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it not true that this program does not increase any costs for the state? We are simply allowing students to access something they would be qualified to access anyway, just earlier. So we're not necessarily increasing the cost of dual enrollment or of HOPE.
Yes, ma'am, you are correct.
Thank you for bringing the bill.
Gentleman has no further questions.
I yield the well, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee's substitute? The chair hears none. The committee's substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 167, the nays 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to Senate Bill 9191?
Senate Bill 91 by Senator Dixon, the 45th, and others, to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 9 and Title 34 of the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to workers' compensation so as to extend the time period for the dissolution of the subsequent injury trust fund. This bill having been referred to the Committee on Industry and Labor, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Representative Houston Gaines is recognized to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 91, simple bill, just a date change that changes the time by 2 years of when the Subsequent Injury Trust Fund transitions to the Department of Insurance. Both the Subsequent Injury Trust Fund and Department of Insurance are requesting this bill. It's an agency bill. No opposition to my knowledge. Mr. Speaker, I'd be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
You have no questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members now voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 164, the nays 1. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to Senate Bill 9595?
Senate Bill 95 by Senator Robertson of the 29th and others, to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 12.837.1 of the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to state grants authorized relative to general provisions of solid waste management so as to specify the manner in which funds are appropriated to the Solid Waste Trust Fund. This bill having been referred to the Committee on Natural Resources and Environment, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chairman Petrie is recognized to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I bring you today Senate Bill 95. This bill deals with the Solid Waste Trust Fund. On your desk, you'll see an audit that was done in 2015 of our Solid Waste Trust Fund. One of the primary recommendations here was that we move our tire fee. So when we established this in 1992, we established a $1 fee on all new tires sold in this state to help us with tire pile cleanup all across this state. And many of you are quite aware, as I am, of how many of these piles are still out there all across our state. What we discovered is we're only collecting about 80% of those funds because not all of our retailers are paying it. And so one of the primary recommendations is that we move that collection away from retailers, about 46 or so hundred of them in the state, to less than 100 wholesalers, and which are described in the bill as distributors. So this bill very simply shifts that to the distributors rather than the retailers. All of your tire shops in your community are going to love you for this one. And moreover, we're going to increase our collections dramatically, probably around $2 to $3 million that are being left on the table that we could use for these cleanup projects. One more thing, in Section 1, you'll see we do add, the governor will add a new appointment to the Recycling Market Development Council, and that will be somebody to represent the tire industry. That's very simply what this measure does, Mr. Speaker, and I'm glad to answer any questions if there are any.
Gentlemen, yield for a question. You have a couple.
Yes, sir, I yield.
Representative Wilkerson is recognized for a question to your left in the back.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I guess looking at lines 49 through 53, currently the retailers can deduct a certain amount. Is that correct? As far as, I'm assuming that's for doing the reports.
That's correct.
Does that amount need to be increased at some point because the distributors are now collecting a significantly amount more? Because you're having fewer distributors going to collect more, they're going to submit more, they're going to ask for more than that 3,000.
Yeah, that issue was never addressed. It wasn't as part of the recommendations in the audit, and so we did not address that. So what you'll see, Representative, that language remains the same and is unchanged in this measure.
Gentlemen, yield.
Yes,
Representative Chaz Cannon to your right has a question.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Do you yield?
Yes, sir, I yield.
Is it not true that rural counties, such as the ones I represent, depend significantly on this trust fund for the tires to have a collection to then take them back to the state?
Yes, sir. It's vital. These tire piles are everywhere, and this material is useful. It's recycled and has great reuse value. So thank you, sir. Thank you for the question.
You have one more, Representative Bennett.
Yes, sir, Mr. Speaker. I'll take one more.
Right out to your left, Representative Bennett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the gentleman yield?
Yes, ma'am.
Am
I
I
yield.
to understand that the $1 will no longer be accepted, taken, or paid to the retailer? Is that?
No, ma'am. So the $1 fee will still be charged, but it will come from the distributor, as the bill describes it, rather than the retailer. So it's just a matter of where we're getting it, at what point in the process. We're getting it from the distributor. Again, about 100 folks. If you can think about the advantage administratively, rather than trying to collect it from 4,600 retailers, we're collecting it from around 100 distributors.
Thank you.
But the fee is unchanged. The $1 fee remains the same as it has since 1992. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield the well.
Gentlemen, has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 164, the nays 1. This bill having received the requisite constitutional majority is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to Senate Bill 129?
Senate Bill 129 by Senator Williams of the 25th and others to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 21 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to primaries and elections generally so as to provide for time off for employees to advance vote. This bill having been referred to the Committee on Governmental Affairs, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Representative Leverett is recognized to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm presenting to you today Senate Bill 129. This is a bill filed by a former member of this body, Senator Rick Williams, I was telling Rick, whenever I see members who were House members who've now gone into the Senate, I'm reminded of the words of the old man in A Christmas Story in one of the dream sequences where Ralphie imagines having gone blind because of the lifebuoy punishment he got, and his old man says, "What has brought you to this lowly state?" So anyway, we've got a number of alums over there, but Rick is doing a good job. This is a bill, actually, the essential and original component of the bill is Section 3. That was a bill, actually, that was filed in this chamber last year by Representative Hagan that would expand the existing protections in Georgia law that allow people to take time off on Election Day to vote. The statute has not been amended since we adopted early voting. It still just addresses Election Day. So we are expanding that protection to also extend to employees can take up to 2 hours to vote on a early voting day. They have to notify the employer, and the employer can designate the actual time they take off, but it does allow people to have that time off if they need it to vote on an early voting day. So that's a bill that passed out of this House, I think, almost unanimously last year. And I would encourage you to vote favorably for the bill again this year because it contains that, plus some other sections which are, and I hate to use this word in the well, but largely cleanup that was requested by the Secretary of State. Specifically, just to walk through those quickly, Section 1, that has to do with the performance review boards. There's a provision that allows the appointment of local election officials to those boards. That has arguably been construed to refer to an entire board of elections and registration, so you'd have to appoint the entire board. We're just amending that to make it clear that specific board members can be appointed. In Section 2, we're changing the text of the disclaimer that has to go out, that has to appear prominently on a ballot application. The initial language, I think, was in an earlier version of 202, when it was moving through the process, and there were later some changes made to that section, and the disclaimer is more consistent with the law as actually passed. Section 3 is the original bill from the Senate. Section 4 has to do with the reports that the local election superintendents have to generate on the day of the election as to what, they're supposed to file a report currently by 10 o'clock as to what ballots they've counted and what ballots still remain. Problem with that is, of course, that's the exact time they're assiduously trying to get the ballots counted, so we pushed that time back to 11:59. And then the final section, we're just trying to clear up some of the processes on audits and make it clear that auditing can also occur on primaries and other elections as well as general elections. Mr. Speaker, that's the gist of the bill, and I'm glad to stand for any questions.
You have no questions, but we do have another speaker on the bill.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I will yield the well and ask your favorable consideration of Senate Bill 129.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Representative Burnell is recognized to speak to the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill is an improvement. However, the intention to modify or eliminate risk-limiting audit procedures could be an unintended consequence of creating a lack of integrity in Georgia's elections. A risk-limiting audit can tell us to the highest level of certainty that the announced election outcome is correct. If there is a problem with the machine counting, a risk-limiting audit can catch and correct the problem. If potential high-stakes sampling of the statewide contest is needed, a risk-limiting audit of the fail-safe method is the fail-safe method to collect the accurate sample size. Georgia used the risk-limiting audit method to reconcile the 2020 presidential election. This bill would also be more acceptable if we could add at least 10 drop boxes to each county, because we all don't have mailboxes at the end of our driveways, and we have constituents that work different shifts and need more flexibility. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
The lady has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee's substitute? The chair hears none. The committee's substitute is adopted. Is there an objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 161, the nays 9. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to Senate Bill 204? 204.
Senate Bill 204 by Representative Donald Zallo, the 27th and others, to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 14 and Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to education accountability so as to provide for the recognition of certain accrediting agencies as evaluators of the quality of education offered in public schools in this state. This bill, having referred to the Committee on Education, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
The lady from the 36th House District, Representative Jenny Earhart, is recognized to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I present to you SB 204, which addresses the issue of accreditation of our K-12 public school systems. The organizations that accredit our public schools are private agencies. They are funded by our tax dollars by way of our school districts. These private accrediting agencies are independent, unelected bodies that have no oversight from the State Board of Education or the General Assembly. They have no accountability to any elected body or state agency in Georgia. They are, in a word, unregulated. By their own declaration, they are not subject to open records requests. They have no allowance for due process and offer no independent appeals process should a public school system disagree with the findings of the accreditation review. Additionally, in just the past 3 years, they have entered into the business practice of selling improvement services to the same school districts they accredit, typically based on the findings of the review. Currently in Georgia, there is nothing in code that offers any oversight to these accrediting agencies. So why is this all concerning? Because eligibility for the Hope Scholarship requires that our high school seniors graduate from an accredited high school. So without accreditation, they are not eligible. So essentially, we have an unelected, unaccountable private entity with the power to grant, downgrade, or remove accreditation, or threaten to do so and affect our students' eligibility for Hope. HB 506 seeks to address these concerns by providing some guidance and guardrails to this taxpayer-funded accreditation process so that Georgia doesn't abdicate something as important as Hope Scholarship eligibility to a private entity. The bill creates a new article in code that does the following. It defines what a recognized accrediting agency is. It sets forth that the State Board of Education shall establish accreditation criteria based 65% on the academic quality of the school district, including but not limited to student achievement, closure of student achievement gap, and student progress. 35% of the accreditation criteria would be based on the financial efficiency of the school district and how state and federal funds are being used by the district to impact student achievement. It also provides for a due process. That means a hearing, a right to appeal, a right for the school district to be represented by counsel if needed. It prohibits the agency from selling any services or materials to the school district that are intended to address any deficiencies they find, so thereby eliminating the conflict of interest that currently exists. It provides for compliance with open records, right? The agency must give full disclosure to the school system of any complaint that warrants a special review. It allows the state BOE to determine if they are complying, and most importantly, it provides for an appeals process for your school districts through the creation of an accreditation committee through the BOE in case there's a dispute between the school and the accrediting agency. It allows them to find either through mediation, through compromise, to find a solution to any disagreement that the school district may have with the accreditation agency's findings. And that is what HB 506 does. It passed unanimously out of our education committee. I ask for your favorable support, and Mr. Speaker, I'll yield for any questions if there are any.
You have a couple. To your left, Chairman Parsons. To your immediate left has a question. Gentleman's recognized for a question.
Thank you, Speaker. The lady yield.
I will.
I wanted to ask, I see the Senate Bill 206 is sponsored in the Senate by the gentleman from the 27th over there. And I just wanted to ask, is this Senate Bill 204, the language on this bill substantially the language in a bill that I know that you have worked on?
It is. Thank you. Unfortunately, my bill just didn't quite make it across on crossover, but Senator Delazelle was certainly willing to incorporate some of the language in mine. It provided, I believe his originally did not allow for an appeals process, so we added that to his bill. It is essentially the bill that I carried.
Very good. Thank you for your hard work on this.
Thank you.
Representative Doreen Carter, to your extreme left back here, is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is gentle lady yield.
Yes.
Would you clarify for me the language that states that the accrediting agency cannot offer services for a cost, but are they also prohibited from providing a service if there's no additional cost?
Right. Thank you for that question. It does not prohibit them from providing a service if there is no additional cost. It simply eliminates the ability of them to go in and diagnose the problem and then sell the school district a solution to that problem. It also doesn't prohibit them from offering or selling services that address issues that were not found as part of a deficiency in the school district. I do remember that was a concern that you had, and I hope that's been sufficiently addressed.
That's a gentle lady.
Yes.
Yield. So it does, and thank you for that, but I would like a point of clarity that it did not leave the committee with full support, because I did vote against it, but I will be voting for it on the floor today.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Lady, yield for one more.
One more question.
Representative Lisa Campbell, to your left, has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentlewoman yield?
Yes.
And my my Ackworth neighbor. My question is, well, I'm excited to affirm your stance advocating for accountability in our educational systems. I'm curious for point C1 on page 6. An accrediting agency shall not apply any standards, measures, or evaluation criteria not in compliance with state law. Could you just help me understand the types of criteria that would be found in that law?
That would be anything that this body has previously passed, or anything that is currently exists in state law, that we are making sure that whatever standards we're using to accredit those agencies don't step outside of what is currently allowed in state law.
And would you yield for one more question?
Mm-hmm.
Do those standards, evaluations, and criteria currently exist in state law?
Do the standards exist? Currently there is nothing in code that addresses accreditation in the state of Georgia. The only reference to accreditation now is as it relates to the Hope Scholarship. So there are no, and that's really one of the reasons for the legislation, there currently is no standard in code that establishes any parameters for accreditation criteria.
And would you yield for one further follow-on question?
Last one.
If the entire point of this bill is to review standards, measures, and to evaluate our schools, and the premise is that the accrediting agency will follow state law, but that law does not exist, how will we rationalize that in supporting this bill?
Not quite sure I understand the question. However, I can tell you that that is certainly not the only purpose for the bill. This is essentially an unregulated area of educational purview. the purpose of the bill is both to set parameters saying, look, everything that we're using to comply needs to either be based on the academic achievement of the school district or the financial responsibility of the school district. That's it. All the other things as well, it does a lot of other really great things for our school district by empowering them to have a say at the table. Let's say they don't agree with their review, through the due process and the appeals process, and eliminating the conflict of interest that I mentioned earlier. Thank you for your questions. Mr. Speaker, if there are no further questions, I'll yield the well.
The lady has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? For what purpose does Representative Maynard rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Is it not true, Mr. Speaker, that over the summer I was privileged to be on the accrediting special study committee with the Education Committee, and it was found that schools throughout the state of Georgia are being accredited by an organization that has no oversight whatsoever? And is it not further true, Mr. Speaker, that if an accrediting body has no oversight and they're making up their own rules to accredit a school, that this bill will help provide more oversight for the schools so they are not spending so much money on accrediting services because there is no oversight of the accrediting agency? Is that not true?
Makes sense to me. I know the gentlelady believes what she so states and is certainly informed. All members voted. If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 161, the nays 10. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to Senate Bill 197?
Senate Bill 197 by Senator Huffstetler, the 52nd, and others to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 1 and Title 43, the official code of Georgia annotated relating to general provisions relative to professions and businesses so as to prohibit deceptive or misleading terms or false representations by healthcare practitioners in advertisements and representations. This bill having referred to the Committee on Health, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chairman Newton is recognized to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll be brief. This is a transparency bill, and it relates to having patients better understand the varied professionals that they interact with when they receive health care. It does this by having the provider be clear about their area of training, both verbally and in advertising. We all know receiving health care can be a complex and often confusing process, especially at a time when a loved one or family member is ill or injured. There's many specialties. There's lots of different areas of expertise, physical therapy, nutrition, and others. We've discussed numerous times that it does take this team of professionals to provide this care. It turns out more and more, though, are also getting master's level degrees or sometimes even doctorates, which occasionally can be confusing with patients if they're not sure exactly who their overseeing doctor is. This bill does help by making sure that everyone's clear about their level of training. It makes sure that the patient will be informed of the field and the level of training that the provider holds. It does also, as I said, applies to advertising. There's so many varied procedures and individuals involved. I recently had a family member who was hospitalized with a fracture, and even with one of the family members in the room with almost all the time,
it can be a very confusing situation when multiple people and consultants are coming into the rooms. You've got teams of surgeons and PAs that work together, nurse practitioners that work together. It can just be a very confusing time, even in the best of situations. I think SB 197 will help give those patients and caregivers the accurate information they need so that they can heal up and get better. I hope you'll support. I'm glad to answer any questions, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman has no questions.
I appreciate your support on SB 197. Thank you.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas were 166, the nays 0. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Leader Beverly, will you join me here for a moment? Well, members, the Senate has not recovered from the kickball game. They had to come in at 1. They had to come in at 1. So will all the members that participated in the whooping, I won't tell you what kind of whooping it is since I'm right up here, the whooping we put on the Senate, and they did try to cheat. I'll go ahead and acknowledge that publicly. They did. They did. So will all the members that participated from the cheer squad stand first? All the cheer squad. I thought you were a cheerleader, Gullett, the way you played. Excuse me, Representative Gutlett. Hey, it was a great day. It started on the sidelines, and it just got better on the field. Now, will all the members, now, Representative Gullett, you can stand, all the members that participated in the kickball game. I knew it was going to be a good day when I saw Representative Rumon take out a former Lieutenant Colonel Army Ranger at second base. Yes. Let me tell y'all, a good time was had by all. We were victorious. I guess y'all get that. Y'all see the medals around the room. How many years is this the House has commanded? 2 years since it began. We're on a streak. So next year I want to invite all of you to go down to the kickball game. It was a lot of fun, y'all. And it's always good to win, but we had a lot of fun getting to that end. Representative Beverly, I couldn't get you in the game. You may have to cheer next year. We'll see if we can get you going. I'm not sure, but I'll do my best to get you in the game. Leader Beverly wants to say a few words and congratulate this great team. Thank you, all the members of this House. It was a bipartisan butt whipping that we put on the Senate. I got closer that time, didn't I? But it was a good day. Representative Beverly.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to say one thing. Whose house? Our house. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow kickball enthusiasts, we did not just win in this house. We won for every kickball kid who's ever played and will ever play who comes to this General Assembly. This victory is not lost on us, and we should be celebrating because we are number one, because it's our house. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I appreciate what you do. Next year, I'm going to kick the ball across the street, so y'all get ready. I'll see you soon. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well done.
All right. Good stuff. Thank you all. Well, I guess I will let one member of the cheer squad speak. Representative Moore, you got to keep it short. We're going to lunch. Come on, girl.
Dear Speaker, thank you. Isn't it true by me standing behind First Plate screaming, "You ugly," delayed each one of those senators and helped us win, even though I didn't participate in kicking the ball? Isn't that true?
Well, what surprised me is that when you said "you ugly," they turned around and looked at you. They knew what you were talking about. I was going to tell you to be nice until they turned around and looked at you like, yeah, that's me. It was a good day. We had a good day and certainly enjoyed. Representative McLean, you have an announcement. We're going to let you come down front. Anyone else has an announcement before we take off here? We're going to recognize another gentleman that's going to talk to us a little bit, and we're going to recess and go to a little lunch break here. Representative McLean, recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want you all to know that Working Family Caucus will be meeting in room 307, and we'll be doing the good, bad, and ugly, and also Medicaid, unwind, in room 307, and there's some lunch. So thank you all very much. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative, yes, Mr. Chairman of Rules, Chairman Richard Smith is recognized for an announcement.
Oh, let's see. Hour for lunch, that'd make it 10 after. We'll meet at 10 minutes after 1. Rules will meet at 1:10. Thank y'all.
Members, we have several of you who won't need to make a motion to move some bills. We're going to take those up at 1:30 when we come back, at 1:30. Chairman Billy Mitchell is recognized for an announcement.
Two very quick announcements. First of all, number one, we have a resolution that will be taken to the late Representative Nagishi's funeral. The Speaker will be signing it. I would love to have every single one of you sign it. It will be with the clerk so that you can get your signature there on it. Number two, the House Democratic Caucus will meet mandatory meeting in 6:05. It should not take very long. Lunch will be served. We're going to approve some bylaws. So please be there so we can go to working families and other meetings. Thank you so very much, Mr. Speaker.
That completes our announcements. This House will stand in recess until 1:30 p.m. 1:30 p.m. This House will be in recess.